Before we begin this video, a quick warning. Some rather sensitive things will be talked about and mentioned, and I will be using some harsh words because, well, I'm pissed off about this one in particular. Hey everyone, today I wanted to talk about a recent controversy involving Midwest Furfest, one of the largest furry conventions in the entire world, and more importantly, how the furry community itself responded to the absolute fucking nonsense that they tried to pull. This is not about stirring drama, let me make this abundantly fucking clear. This is about accountability, awareness, and community values, and why speaking up actually matters in this case. So, what happened? Recently, MFF approved a company to appear in their dealer's den that openly markets adult products involving live animal casting. Many people in the furry fandom raised serious concerns. Understandably, the normal furries, which is more common than you would be led to believe by Twitter lobotomites, were not happy about this. Many people in the furry fandom raised serious concerns, describing these practices as animal abuse and completely incompatible with what the furry fandom stands for, which I myself agree with. The furry community has long had a strong connection with animals. Granted, these are anthropomorphic fictional animals, but animals at the end of the day. And for a lot of people, this right here crossed a very clear line. Let me remind you, this wasn't anthropomorphic animals that were being casted, or being given a certain body part for. No, these were real, actual animals. This crossed a very clear line. As news spreads, reactions exploded across many social media platforms, be it related to furries or not. Apparently, even in Facebook, a lot of furries were talking about this. Like, I was actually surprised. For a moment, I forgot Facebook existed. People weren't just being offended. Again, this was a serious problem, not drama. They were asking very real and important questions like, 1. Why was something like this allowed at all in the first place? 2. How was this approved? And 3. What standards are being used for dealers these days? Many expressed disappointment, frustration, and depending on who you ask, even anger. Especially because conventions like MFF represent the fandom on a very big stage. And here is the important part. Some users reported comments being deleted or disabled, which only added fuel to the fire, and made people feel like concerns weren't being taken seriously, and they weren't. Now here's the part that actually matters, and actually, is worth celebrating. After sustained community pressure, the company was removed from this convention. And let me be very clear here. This did not happen because MFF suddenly grew a backbone. They never had one to begin with. Let's make that abundantly clear.
Deleting comments and shit, as if that shit's gonna work. Get fucked, MFF. You spineless bastards.
This happened because regular ass furries spoke up. Average members of the fandom, myself included, attendees whom cancelled their tickets, and artists whom simply made posts decrying this. This was grassroots pushback and it worked. I'm not giving props to MFF for fixing a mistake they should not have made in the first fucking place. The credit here goes to the people who raised awareness, the people who refused to stay quiet, and the people who pushed for accountability. Bless all of you people. This is a great reminder that shows that the furry fandom is not some unthinking, hive mind monolith that will tolerate anything and anything just because it's labeled adult or alternative. We do have lines. And animal abuse is one of those lines. You just don't cross them. This situation, once again, highlights something very important that everybody needs to remember. The fandom values are shaped from the bottom up, not from top down. When conversations fail to upload basic ethical standards, the community has every single right and responsibility to call that shit out and take action about it. Constructive criticism is not cancel culture. It's community self-regulation. Let's make that abundantly fucking clear. A big takeaway here is that the furry fandom protected its own values, not because of organizers, but despite them. And that's something worth recognizing. And I need you all to remember this. Always stay critical, stay compassionate without being unreasonable about it. This leads me into something very important. A lot of people have a tendency to fall into this mental trap of thinking, oh, but I'm not a famous popular, or oh, I'm not a big content creator in a general sense. I'm not part of Khan leadership, so why even bother speaking up? That mindset is flat out fucking wrong. This situation proves the opposite. The people who made the difference weren't influencers or staff members, they were regular ass community members who refused to ignore something that was clearly unacceptable. This is why speaking up matters. Silence is what allows nonsense like this to happen in the first place. So never stay quiet about that. Stuff like this slips through, it doesn't just affect one convention, it damages the already shaky public reputation of the fandom. It sends a message that, oh, anything goes. And it blurs the lines that should never be blurry regardless of anything. Animal abuse is not just an adult thing, it's not an edgy thing, it is simply unacceptable moral failing, as well as ethical failing. And as a community, we have to draw clear lines, which thank God we have, and we have enforced it in the case of MFF. Again, let me make this clear, MFF would not have gotten rid of them if the average furry had not talked about this. So never underestimate your voice or your fellow furry's voice. You do not need a platform, you do not need a badge, you do not need permission from any dickhead. If something is wrong, it's wrong. Say something. This time the community spoke, and thankfully it worked. And that's exactly how it should be. Once again, I want to make one thing absolutely clear, because this is where false neutrality needs to be fucking stopped, especially by bigger content creators. Defending this company is not having a different opinion. It is literally defending animal abuse and the sexual exploitation of animals. There is no grey area here. There is no both sides. There is no excuse. If you are willing to downplay this, or God forbid even justify this, or defend it in any kind of context, then yes, you are defending the abuse of animals. Full stop. And to put it plainly, first off, if you're a zoophile watching this, kill yourself now! 2, people who are okay with this, even if they aren't zoophiles, you too can go to hell, you fucking lobotomites. This is what Twitter does to people.
See, your average popular content creator probably did not speak about this at all. This fake neutrality bullshit is unfortunately a part of them, the spineless cowards. You will not get that from me, however. I will gladly tell a zoophile to kill themselves. We are not the same.
This line is not negotiable. This is not a purity test. This isn't about being prudish. And it is definitely nothing about kink shaming. This is about basic ethical moral boundaries. But fellow furries that still have a functioning brain are already against this, and they make that abundantly clear. And that is certainly better than nothing. And as time goes by, I wouldn't be surprised if we start, working a bit better on this. In short, some lines do not get debated, they get enforced. End of the story. Again, speak up. Not because you're famous, not because you're staff, but because your silence only protects the people doing harm. But yeah, luckily enough, at least in this situation, there has been a good ending. And the furry fandom has remembered, especially the western part of the furry fandom has remembered, oh yeah, we're a community with our own, community social rules and so on. But yeah, this has been a story with a good ending, so I suppose that's good. Again, do not give MFF the slightest bit of, props for this. They would have kept them if they could. As for fellow average furries whom spoke up about this, or at the very least, sparked a conversation about this that could potentially lead to someone making a post about this, thank you so much. I absolutely applaud you, and keep doing what you do. That's going to be about it for today. See you again later.